Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and in this video, I'm going to cover yet another major update to Master of Orion version 43.4. And there's a lot to discuss with this update. And I know I'm a little late with this update. I had some things going on in my life that made me late a couple days in covering this update. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, there are some minor things. For instance, one thing I noticed in the update log is now you can mute your advisors. So I went ahead and selected that. Now, the one thing the game doesn't yet allow you to do is to mute the narrator, which is a little bit of an issue for me when I go into selecting a new game, because just as before, whenever you select any race, the narrator starts reading off the entirety of this description. So I more than likely will be lowering that volume so that you don't have to hear it the entire time I'm talking. But while I'm talking, I have to hear it in my headphones. So it's a little bit of a distraction here. But one of the major updates to this version is the addition of two new races, the Silicoid race, which have a number of traits. They have a large homeworld size. They have a new biome, Inferno. They have an uber planet, Inferno. So if I remember correctly from the custom race screen, this is a special planet that you can transform. I think volcanic planets, if I remember correctly, is the planet type, into Inferno planets, which this race likes. So that's nice. We have a research penalty of negative 25%. They don't consume any food, though, and they do not get any food from the population. So I guess when you work a planet, you can't actually produce food, which is an interesting mechanic. I'm not sure if that's something that you can select in the custom race. That's something we can check. So under one of these has food from population. Yeah, you can set it to none. So that is something that we see here with the Silicoid race here. And as I discussed with the Inferno selection, oh, it's not giving me a tooltip. I thought there was a tooltip for these. And oh, there we go. So that's your starting home world. And then the other modifier is here. This race can transform volcanic planets into highly improved Inferno planets, which is what I thought. The other race is the Darlonk, which have an assimilation power of negative 25%. So I'm going to assume that is a penalty, as it says here. So you assimilate slower than normal. You have an increase in security. Mission duration is reduced. I'm going to assume that both of these have to do with spying, which is yet another addition into the game. We have ship improvement stealth. So it says here, this race's ships can get close to opponents without being detected. So that was part of the custom race setup from before. And we have the starting tech government. So in the past, Master of Orion Darlocks were the masters of espionage, and it appears that some of their racial traits go hand in hand with that. So some other additions that we have, and we might as well choose one of the new races. I am most interested in choosing the Silicoid because I want to see how that production works. But it would be also nice to see how the espionage works. Another addition to the game is you can now choose huge galaxy size. So we'll do that just for the sake of argument. We can have up to 8 races, including our own, 7 of which are AI controlled. All right, I've loaded into the game world, and I want to start off by covering some of the things that have been changed in the game that I can cover from this point in the game. So one thing that's been added in is a new victory condition. We now have an economic victory, which the description says, fill your coffers and claim economic supremacy by controlling the Galactic Monetary Fund. Now, I'm not 100% on how a lot of these mechanics work, as I haven't had the chance to jump into the game and try them out. But we can see here that we have a percentage share of the GDP, which I'm going to assume is galactic GDP. And another assumption that I make here is that we have to have a galactic monetary fund established, which my assumption is that it works similarly to the way the Galactic Council works, in that you have to encounter all of the other races before it will be established so that you can be voted Supreme Chancellor and win this condition. Again, that's an assumption, though. Another thing that's been added in is the espionage, as we mentioned before. Also, there have been added in minor civilizations. So these aren't the 8 major civilizations that we selected when we started the game world. These are civilizations that you can interact with and influence to gain various rewards. As far as espionage goes, at this point in the game, I cannot currently access it because I have not unlocked the Spy Center yet. Let's take a look at the research tree and see where that is. And if we go along, we see the Xeno Relations tech here, and under that, we have the Spy Center, which is a building that we had previously but didn't really do anything. Now it allows you to start the espionage. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select government and move along the tree from there. Also, another mechanic I'd like to check out is the fact that the Silicoid race does not produce food. As we can see here on the production track, there are no spaces for me to put any of my workers in food. As you can see, I cannot drop a single worker there. So that is an interesting mechanic as well. So I went ahead and started a new game with the Darlock race so I could advance through the espionage a little bit quicker. And I also started with a smaller galaxy size so I could encounter other races faster so I can use that espionage. But one mechanic I'd also like to demonstrate is a change in the way that combat strength is depicted. So before you just had a base combat strength stat. Now you have attack rating and defense rating, 2 separate stats. So if we click on my fleet here, we can see because of the frigate, colony ship not really having any combat strength, we have attack rating of 5 and a defense rating of 35. We click on, for instance, a fleet that has no combat value, like the Scout. We have 0 attack rating. We do have a little bit of defense rating, though, of 2. Not exactly sure where these numbers come from exactly, but it is definitely a different way of demonstrating fleet strength. Now we're going to take a look at combat against that pirate fleet. They have attacked my fleet here. And let's take a look at the tactical combat, as that is supposedly something that has been improved. So there's the pirate fleet. And there's my lone frigate. Alright, so I'm noticing right away a major difference in the perspective that I am given. I'm also noticing that the colony ship is actually on the battlefield here. Let's make sure that that is a little bit further away. Now, I'm actually not sure. Oh, there we go. So just holding in the right mouse button, you can go ahead and change your camera. So if you like the perspective you got before, you can come back around to here, but they give you that overhead view so that you can now get a little bit more of an idea of where your fleet is and where their fleet is as well. I'm also noticing this kind of dust cloud, which is something that is new as well. At least I don't remember encountering anything like that before. So with my frigate, I guess I might as well just come in here and mix it up with the pirates. Keep my colony ship back so that it is safe. And as far as weapons go, I only have really laser cannons. And when I pause, interestingly enough, it kicks me back to this overhead view. But when I unpause, it keeps me there. Okay, that might be slightly annoying if you prefer one view over another. But otherwise, it appears that the combat works more or less the same way. There have been just some slight mechanical changes. We're also getting indicators of hits and misses. That's something a little bit new. As well as indicators of damage. I don't believe that was something that we saw before either. So, a lot of new additions. And we're going to be finishing off the last pirate ship here. Oh. I wonder if that asteroid would have blocked the shot. In any case, there's our victory, and I'll look at the tactical combat. So they've definitely added on a number of features showing misses and how much damage is actually being done, as well as a little bit different perspective than we're normally used to. Okay, I have another new mechanic I'm seeing here. Our scanners have detected an electromagnetic disturbance nearby. We should explore the area for further investigation, and it indicated this planet here. So we'll have to see what that is as soon as I can move my scout.
You find the planet inhabited by the pious Akirans, a race of aquatic beings who have forsaken technology in search of spiritual illumination. They claim to live in peace and harmony with nature, but they know full well the dangers their holistic existence faces when confronted with the might of visitors from beyond the stars.
All right, so this is what happened when I visited that planet. So this must be one of the minor civilizations. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so this is the minor civilization, and this is our current relations with them. And they are researchers. They don't have any resources. Population of 6, structures of 4, and they don't have a quest for us. So this is indeed very similar to the way the current civilization game works. So very interesting. We can gift them credits. Let's take a look at that. So I can give them 50, 100, or 200. Why don't we give them 100? All right, so that did improve our relations. Okay, so... Oh, we don't want to ignore them, obviously. So we'll have to see how that works. I'm still working on building up my spy center, although I do have the technology unlocked to do it. So we'll have to see if we can do any espionage against this race. I also have an idea of where the Meklar might be, so we'll try and encounter them as well.
Do not panic, but long-range scanners have detected a gigantic space eel lurking in a previously unexpected sector of space. And now, sports!
All right, I highlighted that as that is another thing that they have made changes to is the Galactic News Network. All right, I finally have completed the construction of the Spy Center, and immediately on its construction, I recruited a Spy Alpha. Now, this happened automatically. There wasn't anything I had to do, and we have the Spy Alpha awaiting orders on Nazine Prime, and we have another Spy Bravo who is currently training, which will take 15 turns on Nazine Prime. And this is the location of the Spy Center that I built. Let's select Alpha here and see what the Spy can do. So we have assigned colony, hold, and missions. Well, let's see what missions we have. All right, so far it looks like the only thing that's highlighted is counter-espionage. All right, so these are for opponent colonies only. Now, it's possible because I have not yet encountered any of my opponent's colonies, this is grayed out. So we have to first discover where they are. Now, I have a guess on where they are, but I have not yet encountered them, at least the planets. I have encountered the races, and I can actually do diplomacy with them, but that is not all you need, obviously. You need to actually encounter their colonies, it seems. Let's go ahead and select counter-espionage. And this increases chances of discovering enemy agents by increasing the security rating. And that looks like it will take 1 turn to do. So for now, we'll just have our spy doing counter-espionage. And once I have discovered where one of the opposing players' planets are, I'll go ahead and try and do a mission against them. Currently, I have not yet discovered their planets, although I have a couple guesses of where they could be. So I have encountered an opposing player's planet, but even still, when I click on my spy and go to missions, unfortunately, I still cannot launch any mission other than counter-espionage. So obviously, there's something else I have to do before these unlock. And that's as far as I'm going to delve into the espionage system with this cursory glance at the update. So let's go ahead and go over some of the other things added into this update. In addition to a number of improvements, you have the return of the weapon miniaturization mechanic into Master of Orion, which allows you to improve older weapons by making them smaller and cheaper as you unlock higher tech weapons further down the line. And that's something, as I said, existed in previous Master of Orion titles, so it's good to see that return. Another major change is an increase in population cap of 4 across the board for every planet, as well as an overall rebalancing of the different biomes for the planets. In any case, I think that wraps up the main additions that this update has. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.